Hey, welcome back to Cincy Vines, where we have the local tri-state artists in the area. Right now, today, we have a very successful business entrepreneur, real estate agent by the name of Patrick Armstrong. Mr. Patrick Armstrong, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Tell us about yourself. When you became a real estate agent, what made you decide to become a real estate agent, and just to begin with, anyway?
So as a kid, I always wanted to kind of take on real estate. I always actually wanted to be a construction worker.
Oh,
So
okay.
back in the day, like what do you want to do when you get older? It wasn't a police officer, be like a contractor.
Okay.
So I went to Diamond Oaks.
All right.
Graduated from Mount Healthy and went to Diamond Oaks, and I went for construction engineering. Didn't like the labor side of the business.
Okay.
Started watching shows, flip houses, and $1 million listings, and that's how I got started in real estate.
Wow, wow. Tell me, what's your biggest real estate contract?
The biggest deal I've done?
Yes.
Probably sold a $300,000 house.
Woo!
Yeah,
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it was very exciting. A lot of work.
Uh-huh.
It was very exciting.
Do you work for a specific real estate agency or company?
Yes. So my brokerage is Ownerland Realty. So
Owner Line Realty.
Owner Land.
Owner Lane Realty.
Owner Land.
Owner Land Realty.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes,
LAND.
Yes,
Gotcha.
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where are you located?
We are located in the Tri-County office.
Okay.
So prior to Ownerland, I was with Coldwell Banker.
I've heard of them, Coldwell Banker.
They're like number one or number two in the country as far as real estate.
Okay.
So I've been with Ownerland a little over a year now.
Okay. You like it there so far?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
Great.
They allow me to do what I need to do for my business. So I'm not micromanaged. I can kind of control everything that I want to do as far as business wise, marketing, etc.
So when you graduated from high school, by the way, how old? Tell people in the world how old you are.
I'm 27.
27 years old.
27.
By the time you graduated from high school and you decided to become a construction engineer, and then you decided to become a real estate agent, you coming fresh out of high school, what piece of advice would you give to the male youth, or anyone in the world in particular, male or female gender? What type of advice would you give them in order to pick the best career option they want for themselves?
I really recommend having passion for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just do something because that's what everybody's doing, but you really have
and
passion.
because it makes a lot of money.
Absolutely, money is the biggest thing. You have to have a passion for what you do.
Right.
And selling real estate is something I love doing. I love seeing the faces on the family faces when I sell a house, and it's the first day and the first tour in the houses. I mean, it's like words can't describe that feeling.
So you've closed the deals. You've closed deals before. You've closed successful deals at 300,000. That's a very good high ranking mark.
Yes.
I know a little bit about the mortgage business. So what would you recommend as far as when you are dealing with someone like a married couple who's interested in looking for a home? What would you recommend they do as far as when trying to purchase a home?
So the first step is kind of knowing where your credit score is at.
Okay.
So most banks require a 580 credit score, but in order for you to receive grant money, which you would require a 640 credit score.
Okay.
And grant money will help out with the down payment for the home.
Okay.
So the first step is just knowing your credit situation, knowing what area you want to be at. If you got a family and you have kids, where would you like those kids to grow up as far as education? School district is very important when you're looking to buy a house.
Okay. So let's talk about property value. Now, when it comes to property value and buying or purchasing a home, would you recommend? I mean, there's so many different options depending on the person's situation.
Absolutely.
So, let's talk about option to buy or lease to own, whatever. What would you say is the best type of market right now strategy for couples who are just trying to settle down, get married, have kids, that type of situation?
I would say actually buying a home. A lot of people rush the process, meaning that they will say if my credit score is at a 520, but I want a home right away. So they don't want to do the work to kind of get that credit score increased. So what they do is do the lease to own option. And with the lease to own option, the markup on the house is tremendous. So meaning you could take a house that is worth 70,000, but that seller can double that, where they can sell it to you for 150,000. You're so caught up in trying to get a home that you don't realize that. So in the long run, now you have a house that you can't even sell because you paid double in the value of the property.
Wow. So how do you? Let's talk about a situation where a person is renting a home, whatever situation they're in. How does a person, and they like the home, say they like the home they're in, how do you get a person to, or the landlord or tenant or whoever owns the home, to discuss matters with them on trying to rent to own the home?
Or rent to own home? I mean, the first step is seeing if that seller is willing to sell the home. It's a lot of people that's trying to get out the business because, retiring, and those are the ones you kind of really want to go for.
Okay, so if the tenant or the landlord is retiring,
The landlord.
The landlord.
Of course.
When the landlord is retiring,
or he's willing to sell the property,
then you have a chance at owning the home.
Absolutely, but a lot of landlords like to keep the property because
it's an investment.
Absolutely, because you can pass it down to your kids, and that creates generation wealth.
Okay, so if the landlord is just going to invest in the home and he's not thinking about selling it to you, what would you say the best piece of advice to give to the person who's in the home?
Get out as soon as you can.
Exactly.
Work on your credit score. It's a lot of options out there where you don't have to have a lot of money down. A lot of people hear real estate and think, oh man, you gotta have a lot of money. I'll tell you a story. So back in 2012, I was working at Kroger and I was a bagger. And this guy, his name was Jerry Eisman. That's how I got started in real estate. He came to me and said, man, you need to go and buy a house. I said, man, you see where I work at. I can't buy no house. And he was like, no, you need to come buy a house. So you need to come meet with me. So I sat down, met with him, and he kind of told me the options. And my option that I went with is buying a 4-family. So what I did is I purchased a 4-family, rented out the other 3 units, and lived in one. So I was able to save some money and start buying my other property. So today I own actually 8 different properties.
Wow.
And 3 different multifamilies. And I also flip homes as well.
Wow, so you renovate?
Yes.
Oh,
that's the
wow,
exciting
that's
part.
amazing.
Exciting part. I've been doing that for a little over a year now.
Okay, tell people around in Cincinnati where we can find you.
So you can find me on Facebook at Patrick T. Armstrong. My email is parmstrong09@yahoo.com.
Well, you've heard that here first. Since Yvonne's on, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back to be meeting more with Patrick Armstrong and talking more about the real estate game. Welcome back. We have Mr. Patrick Armstrong on the show today. Mr. Patrick Armstrong, you said you were 27 years old with 8 investment properties, and you have your own home as well. Mr. Patrick Armstrong, tell them, how did you do that? How is it possible for anyone at your age to do what you're doing right now, or even better?
I would say first thing to do is take a chance. Take a chance. Don't be scared, to fail. So I've been in business for the last 5 years. And just got my business started probably about 2 years, where it's kind of like, okay, I got enough clients and things are going well. I'm not losing a lot of money, and I kind of know what to do and what not to do.
Okay.
And also ask questions.
Okay.
Go out and network, and if you want to get in that field, if it's not real estate or if it's anything that you're doing, just go out and network and ask questions.
Right.
Figure out what did that person do wrong, so you can kind of avoid that mistake.
So do you continue your education
Yes.
in real estate?
Absolutely.
How often do you have to do that?
So realtors are required for the first 3 years to do 30 hours of training.
Okay.
And then after that, it's every 2 years you do 10-hour training.
Okay. And is it would you get like a certificate?
You get a certificate, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, a certificate. It just kind of keep you up to date on all the rules and
Okay.
regulations as far as the whole real estate process.
Okay.
'Cause everything changes by the day.
Okay. Do you have to go to college for it?
You don't have to go to college. You actually can go to get your license. Well, you have to go to college. Let me say that. Let me take that back. But it's not like a 4-year degree.
Okay.
And you get your license where you take 3 classes.
Okay.
You're required to take 3 classes, and it typically costs between $1,200 to $1,500.
Oh.
I know Hondro's offering. You actually can do it online now.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
easy for you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's great. That's amazing. If you were to basically say anything as far as anywhere in Cincinnati, what homes would you say is a great place to start as far as investing with property values?
So if you're doing investment property, you want to buy the ugly homes.
The ugly homes?
ugly homes.
Why do you say the ugly homes?
I saved that because you want to start low because again, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
So the ugly homes are the ones that cost maybe in the range between $10,000 to $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's easy, cash flow for you,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to going to buying the dream home in Forest Park where you're spending $150,000. At the end of the day, it's not about you're not going to be living in a property; it's investment property. So investment, you can't have no feelings, and it's all about the numbers. The numbers make sense, and that's what make it work.
Yes. So tell me something. Say you're in a situation where you're renting a home, and this might be personal for real, but if you're renting a home and you're about to, you have the key to the home, you're about to pay the rent on the home, and you realize you haven't asked that question yet on whether you can own the home. What would be the best way to go about seeing if you can own the home? And if you can't own the home, what would you be able to do?
So you first need to find out from the seller, the landlord, the current landlord, if he's willing to sell the home. And if he says, well, no, I'm not really willing to sell, then you need to get out.
Right, right.
You already signed that year lease, so it'll be a goal to kind of work on your credit, and they have home buying classes as well, home buyer classes as well, so kind of get you going and kind of show you how everything works, and that can help you out as well. But I highly recommend that for your first year if you're renting. It's okay to rent, but just don't make it long term.
Right.
The biggest thing, like I said, you want to pay off that property, and eventually when you retire, you don't have a mortgage. All you have to do is pay property tax.
Yes, I was going to say that. My next question was going to be about property taxes. Now, with property taxes, I know that happens every 6 months to a year.
Absolutely.
So, what's the best suggestion you can give, or a piece of advice that you can give to someone who's paying on property taxes on a home that they're owning?
So it's two different ways you can go paying your property taxes. So they have an FHA loan, which is a first-time home buyer loan, and that's where your property taxes, your mortgage, your interest, and everything is all in one. And so you pay a set amount each month, and they go towards where they automatically pay your property taxes for you.
Okay.
And then you have the conventional loan, where you can pay your property taxes every 6 to 12 months. But then again, if your property taxes is $2,400 a year, you got to come up with that $1,200 in 6 months if you haven't saved it. Opposed to if you had the FHA loan where it's automatically coming out each month and you're used to that monthly payment.
Say that your home is paid off though. Then how would you pay off what would be the best advice to give someone who's paying on property taxes?
It all depends on budgeting. You can pay it, like again, they give you the option where you pay it once a year, every 6 months, or if you want to pay it on it monthly, where you can just put it in an account and then that way when the bill's due, you just pay the total amount.
It is so amazing how there's fixed and there's variable rates. What rate would you recommend?
Of course, the fix.
Oh, yes. Thank God you're an honest real estate man.
Yes.
Why do you say fixed?
I say that because it's all about the market. It's just like the stock market. It goes up and down. Kind of fixed. Right now, the rates are so low that you kind of want to kind of lock that rate in. So right now, I think the average rate today's market is about 5%, 4 to 5%.
Oh.
Years ago, before the market crashed, you didn't see rates go up to 11%.
Yeah.
So that's almost double. I remember when I first bought my first property in 2012, the interest rate was at 3%. And, that's locked. And you also have the option to sell that rate.
That was fixed.
It's fixed. And so when you sell that, you can sell the rate with the home, meaning it's transferable. So meaning if the rate was up to 10%, and I had that option where mine was 3%, it would transfer over to the seller.
Do you recommend people break leases when they're owning or renting homes? When they're trying to own a home or when they're renting a home, do you recommend that they break a lease?
I don't, because that can go and get on your credit. You don't want to.
You don't never want to break a lease. Never.
So you want to schedule it out. So meaning, your lease is coming up and you sign a year lease. So that's 6 months when it comes up. That's when you want to start the home buying process.
Okay.
Because it takes probably about 45 to 60 days after you find a home to even close on the deal. So it's a process.
So you have an underwriter?
Yes, you have an underwriter. So the first step is kind of going out and looking for a home.
Okay.
Then after that, you get a home inspection. You got to find out, if the roof is good, the windows are good, the gutters,
plumbing,
etc.
yeah.
Absolutely. So then after that process, you get an appraisal, and that's when the bank come out and appraise the home to make sure it's worth the value. They don't want to give out a loan if the house is not really worth $150,000.
Okay.
And after that, the banks verify your job, verify your credit. Then after that, we're at the closing table where you get the keys.
That's a beautiful feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
So if you were, say the home is paid off and basically you're wanting to, say the home's not appraised for $150,000, and it's appraised for lower than that, then what can you do in order to?
So the option is the seller will have to lower that price, or they can opt out the deal.
Okay.
But more than likely, if the agent is doing their homework, you wouldn't fall into place with that because you do comps. So say if you found the house and it was in an area, say Coleraine area, and the house was for $130,000.
Okay.
So you do comps, and the comps are based on the house that's sold within the last year or the last 6 months.
Tell them what are comps.
Comps are like previous sales within the last 6 months that fit that house criteria.
Okay.
So if you're in Coleraine, you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, you would do comps in that area for the last 6 months, and that would kind of give you an idea of how much that home should go for as far as pricing.
Okay. So, and does the comps help determine the property value on the home too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So when appraisal come out, they'll pull the comps and do the same thing. It's a lot into it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It also consists of if the basement's finished, if it's not finished, if it's newer windows, new roof. That all adds value to the property.
Now, for people who are renting homes as well, what would you tell them? What would you recommend they do if they're renting a home? What type of situation should they be in?
If they're renting a home, again, get out. Figure out what you need to do to kind of get the ball going. Some people will take a year, and it can take 5 years. But as long as you have that plan and you have the information you need to kind of getting that started, I think you'd be good.
Okay. So tell them again where we can find you, please.
So you can find me on Facebook at Patrick Armstrong, and my email is parmstrong09@yahoo.com. Phone number 513-400-1520. You can call me anytime.
Yeah, that sounds like a man from Forbes. Well, we are here at Cincy Vines, and we want to thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Armstrong, for coming on the show. You're definitely one of the few good men we have out here in the real estate agencies. Tell them the name of your agency.
Owner Land Realty.
Owner
and my
Land
flipping business
Realty.
is Strong on Properties.
Owner Land Realty, and the flipping business, the renovating side of business is
Strong on Properties.
Strong on Properties.
Yes.
I see where that Armstrong comes from. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cincy Vines, and thank you so much for coming on the show, Mr. Armstrong. And we are out.
Too Fresh exclusive.